Hello, everybody. This is Kip Crandall, and I would like to give you a quick update to Oregon's emergency management plans that we've been working on this year. It's been a super busy year, primarily for two different reasons. We have changed our crisis terminology, and we're getting that out to our kids, staff, and public. And then also, we're working with neighboring districts, Byron and Stillman, about a joint reunification plan. I'll explain both those here in just a few minutes, and then you can take a look at the other things that will be updated as well in this presentation. First of all, we are required each year by the state of Illinois to conduct a lot of different drills. So you see fire drills, shelter-in-place drills, lockdown, chaotic lockdown, and earthquake. The dates are laid out there for the elementary school and the junior high school, or junior senior high school. And those are the different days that they take place and the times. You will notice that one of them for the high school is TBA for fire drill number 2. We are required to do one unannounced fire drill. So teachers know it's coming. They just don't know what day the week of Fire Prevention Week. So, but you can look through there and take a peek at all the other things that we do drill throughout the course of the year. This year we changed terminology for our kids and staff from we used the ALICE principles prior to this year as far as the terminology. So you had shelter in place, you can read the definition there. You had a soft lockdown, a hard lockdown, or evacuate. The word lockdown in a lot of people's mind triggers like super bad crisis. And for a soft lockdown in the past, that wasn't necessarily the case. It was just you might have had a seizure in the hallway. So you do a soft lockdown and everybody stays in their room. There might have been something happen in the community. So you do a soft lockdown. Things of that nature. We have changed to the I Love You Guys Foundation terminology, the standard response protocol. So now what we do in certain situations is hold means that you just hold your kids tight in the room. Nobody leaves the room until the hold is lifted. That could be a seizure, that could be some kind of dog search, we don't want kids in the hallways. Secure then is where everything takes place normal in the building, but we secure the doors and bring everybody that might be outside inside. The only time kids will ever hear lockdown if something's really bad happening. And then the ALICE principles go back into place. Like the teachers during a lockdown are in charge of those kids in their room until somebody tells them they're not. So if there's, God forbid, a school shooter down in the Blackhawk Center, anybody from the gym lobby clear up to the old building should be trying to get out to our evacuation sites. Evacuate, that's a couple of different things. If it's really bad situation and they evacuate during a lockdown, they will head to the Rock River Center and Riverstone Church down the way. And that now used to be our reunification sites. However, that's going to change. They'll evacuate and gather there, but the reunification will take place in either Stillman or Byron, and I'll explain that a little bit more in just a minute. And then shelter is our old shelter in place where, if there's a tornado or something of that nature, we shelter in the safest spot possible. We do have two pieces of new crisis software which do integrate and act together. You can see Centegix, that's the badge that all of our staff have, where they can alert a certain kind of crisis. A 3-button push on the Centegix badge is just something like I've fallen and I can't get up. There's a seizure in the hallway. There's a fight in the classroom. Staff pushes it 3 times. It alerts us to where their location is, and then we can send help there immediately. That will also then interact with Informacast, and it will, like when somebody pushes that button, it will actually track them. So say a student, they need help with a student and they're on the move, it'll actually show where they are in the building and where they're moving to. So that's a really neat feature. Informacast puts out a blast to all staff from Strategic Lockdown Trigger. It'll eventually lock down the entire building at some point. We're trying to get the company to get that feature on board. So all the exterior doors, if there's one that happens to not be locked, everything would lock down. It creates an incident then in Visitor Aware, which emails all staff a link that they can click for their roster, and they can then put the status of their students, like here, Jillian's here, Billy's here, Tom's here, and then we can keep track of where our students are. Admin can log into the dashboard, see the status of all students. It also provides a list of all approved people to pick up each student if we have to move to a reunification site. So that's been really helpful in our crisis planning. So the work with Byron and Stillman, God forbid there's a tragedy on any campus, say it's Stillman's campus, Byron and Oregon have agreed to dismiss their students and prepare for a reunification at one of those two sites. So here is the preliminary setup. You can see on the left there the traffic flow. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe you can expand your screen. But these, again, are preliminary as far as the reunification site being parents on the right there. You'll see they're going to enter through the Blackhawk Center. Buses will drop students from the other school off back by the Ag Shop, where there's a first aid center and greeters, and then they'll assemble in the middle gym, and we'll reunify kids and parents as we get approval through all the paperwork and so forth. Here's a link to a working copy of our reunification document. If you click on the Oregon tab, you'll see that we're starting to fill in team leaders for all those different positions that are needed in a reunification situation. But again, that's a work in progress with Byron and Stillman. And then lastly, all these changes have required a little bit of new equipment to be ordered, reunification resources. The nice thing is that the I Love You Guys Foundation has complete sets of like downloadable, printable, like posters and placards and things like that. We just have to buy the lanyards and the clipboards and all of that stuff. And then we will put together 2 reunification boxes, one to keep in the Blackhawk Center and one to keep up in the main office. And then another thing we're going to add is, since we're probably going to be transporting kids in an emergency situation, crisis bags for transportation for each bus. Clear backpack that'll have water, a stop the bleed kit from the fire department, blanket, robust first aid kit, instant cold packs, those kinds of things. So that's it for the update. If you have any questions, you can always reach out and I would be happy to answer them. Thank you.